Good evening and welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am Commissioner and Chair Rick Vest. To my left is Commissioner and Vice Chair Deb Shore. To her left is Commissioner Sean Flowerday. To my right is Commissioner Roma Amundsen, and to her right, Commissioner Krista Yoakum. Do we do the pledge? Or?
I think it's always appropriate.
All right, would you please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, would you begin the meeting?
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available on request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Our first and only agenda item this afternoon is public hearing. This is for the 1 and 6 year road and bridge improvement program for 2022 through 2027.
And I believe we'll start with Engineer Dingman.
Good evening.
Pam, I'm going to go ahead and need to swear you in since this is a public hearing. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. So the first statement of truth tonight is the hardest part of this presentation is figuring out which of my staff is sitting behind me without looking. So I may look tonight because inevitably I forget someone and then I feel really bad later. John Berry, the county surveyor, is with us tonight. If you could stand up, John. Thanks. Larry Legg, the assistant county engineer, is with us tonight. Karen Wilson, our special projects engineer, is with us tonight. Jordan Whip, our brand new engineer 4, roadway engineer. I think this is the start of week 3 on the job. So how exciting is that? Tracy Dragoo, the office manager. Monet McCollin, who is our project coordinator. Doug Sindler, who is responsible for overseeing our construction. Mike Hawley, who is our CAD manager. Ron Bohati is with us tonight. He is the head of maintenance for our operation. In addition, Bud Geislinger is here tonight. He is the assistant maintenance superintendent. Brandon Kramer is here tonight. He actually heads up our bridge repair crew tonight, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. We also have Mike Clark with us tonight, and Mike is the head of our grading crew or our road repair crew. And so now I'm going to do this. Did I miss anybody? I did, actually. Alan Zapt is with us tonight, and Alan is the transportation planner that is responsible for the Lancaster County MPO, and so he's also a very important part of our presentation tonight. And with that, did I miss anyone? Oh, Alex. How could I do that? Alex Olsen is our right-of-way manager. In addition to that, he is a volunteer fireman in Firth. And so I will say tonight that we do have possible bad weather expected. So if you see Alex get up and flee the room, he is the person on emergency management duty tonight for our department.
Could we just give a round of applause to your team?
Thank you, Commissioner Shore. So county engineering, although I often am the face of county engineering is much bigger than I am. 106 employees across 846 miles. And so I obviously could not do this by myself. These individuals are dedicated. That means that they're up in the middle of the night, they're up very early in the morning, and often into the evening, we're talking about how we're going to make our plans for the roads. So, I'm Pam Dingman. I am the county engineer. You are welcome to contact me at the Lancaster County Engineering Department or any of the staff who I've listed. I did get here early tonight, but I had about 25 minutes of technical difficulties getting my computer set up, which is something I do here all the time, but for some reason tonight was just not very cooperative. So I'll apologize to any constituents who came early and wanted to talk to me personally. I can make myself available after the meeting or later in the week. Lancaster County, our program consists of exactly 393 bridges or bridge length box culverts. We have 45 miles of roads that are dirt. Still, that means they've never been graded or had any material put on them. 1,052 miles of gravel and 283 miles of paved roads. We have approximately 1,000 culverts in 1,000 box culverts in Lancaster County that span less than 20 feet, and approximately 6,900 pipe culverts, including driveway culverts. We recently got to the 50% mark on our GIS dashboard, which shows culverts that are in good or fair or poor shape. I'm sorry to tell you that 30% of the county's culverts are in need of replacement. Every year we have 10 to 12 culvert pipes fail randomly across the county, leaving gaping holes in our roadways. Lancaster County, in addition to the road and bridge services that we provide, we also do construction survey, monument corner preservation, land subdivision, and we do GIS work. Our maintenance operations consist of several material storage locations around the county, 13 buildings, and a rock quarry. Facilities remain a major concern for Lancaster County, especially in South Lancaster County, where we have sold the Hickman building and the Bennett building. And in addition, we can no longer get a motor grader in and out of the 40th and Saltillo shop because of the traffic there. At the Lancaster County main shop, we repair all county vehicles. In addition, we repair heavy equipment. We also supply gas for our staff as well as all other county vehicles and the Lincoln Police Department. The winter of 2020 and 21, winter and spring, it was record snow. I never know if I'm the luckiest person or the most unlucky person in the world, so I guess I'm fortunate enough during my tenure to have two record-breaking top 5 events. The first one being 2019, and last year we got to number 3 as far as record snowfalls. However, this year was different because we had minimal spring flooding, and that was a true gift. Last winter was a difficult one for the county, but we benefited from an interlocal agreement with the city of Lincoln, which enabled the county to purchase brine from the city. And so we did begin brining last winter. Our brine operation is a little bit different than the city's. Our new trucks actually drop materials in between the wheel wells, as shown in this next picture. When they do that, they put a little spray of brine out to stick that material to the road, as well as we can just put brine on the road. This has enabled us to put less salt into the environment. Once we put salt into the environment, we can't get it out, so we do try to use a minimum amount of materials. In July of 2020, we ordered 2 trucks. In July of 2021, we ordered another 2. I didn't think I was going to be able to say this tonight, but this week, the 2 trucks from July of 2020 have been delivered. That will give us enough time to get drivers in there and get them situated in those new trucks before they're actually driving in the snow. We're hoping to get the other 2 trucks sometime next year. Hopefully we can get them a little earlier than we got them this year. Some of the challenges that we faced in 2021, for example, Lancaster County Engineering Department budgeted to buy 22 culvert pipes for our county program. We were only able to purchase 12 with that amount of money. And that's really because steel prices have increased over 300% in the last 18 months. And so we're really finding that the money allocated to us is doing much less than we expected it to do. In addition, there are shortages of paint, and I know that I spoke to the board last week. We actually waited to open our new bridge, Bridge F88 on North 14th Street, for the paint. And in fact, the paint didn't get to the site until 3 o'clock that day. And I was really nervous that we were going to have to keep that bridge closed one more day just for paint. And I know that there were going to be a lot of people that weren't real happy with me about that. We continue to have shortages in steel as well as aluminum. We ordered shop garage doors in June. And we really need those new garage doors before winter. We still don't have a delivery date for those. In addition, anything that has a computer chip, we are really experiencing lengthy delays on, and that is affecting our operation. I'm super stoked to announce tonight, although I think I could almost lose my engineering license for saying I'm super stoked, that we have no open FEMA claims for the first time since 2015. That also includes our 2015, 2019, and our hazard mitigation grant. So now I'm a little nervous because I don't want to have any more open claims again in the near future. But that being said, it has been a major accomplishment for our team, and I really do thank everybody for working together on this. A lot of people don't realize that FEMA is a reimbursement program, so we have to do the work and then prove we did the work before we're reimbursed, and that can often take years. One of the things that I would like to mention is I have continued to request that in future emergency events that we be allowed to use the Commissioner's Reserve Fund in order not to have to wait so long to be reimbursed. And then our reimbursement from FEMA could be paid directly to the Reserve Fund, and we could continue on with our engineering program. Just a little bit about 2020 versus 2021 and scour critical bridges. We have continued to take scour critical bridges and scour susceptible bridges off of our system by both repair and replacement. I'm really happy to announce that as of last week with opening of the new bridge F88, and I've kind of highlighted some of those on the map on the right, that we are now equal to the point we were at in 2018. So it took me 3 years to get back to where we were in 2018. Hey, maybe if I can have a couple more years, we can be almost done with this. But that has been humbling, and I hope that I don't stand in front of you next spring and say we're right back in the same place again.
I was going to say, we're expecting bad weather tonight. You just said it yourself.
Just a little bit of bad weather, Commissioner Flowerday. In 2018, which is kind of what I've used as the benchmark for our bridge program, we had 20 bridges that had sufficiency ratings on a 100-point scale of less than 50. That means they need to be replaced. Since then, we have replaced 11 of those. So you might think like, hey, you're finally down into single digits, you're making some progress. The reality is that right now we have 23 on that list. So bridges are falling into the poor category faster than we can keep up, even though we have been very aggressive with bridge replacement. I will continue to prioritize bridges that are on paved county roads in order to create a resilient road system. I think that's really important for us. In addition, bridges that I will continue to focus on that are on paved corridors will include bridges like S180 and R184 on Roca Road. These are the triplet bridges to S179 that had to be closed in the after the storm of 2019. Bridge C284 that's on Agnew Road, and Bridge X129 down on Panama Road. I want to talk a little bit about the closed bridges. We currently have 12 closed bridges. I'd really hope by the time we got to the 1 and 6 hearing, I'd be able to say we were down to single digits. But we had a combine hit one of our bridges in the south side of Lancaster County a couple of weeks ago, and our contractor that's in the southeast quadrant of the county has been a little slow to finish his bridge to box culvert projects. So we have, however, been able to open Y74 that was located on South 148th Street between Pella and Firth Road. And we've also been able to open Y181, which was a bit of a struggle for the team. And I'll have to thank the people in the back of the room that helped me get there. The week that we finished with Y181, we had a pipe fail about 200 yards away from the brand new bridge. And I was rather heartbroken that I still wouldn't be able to open the road, that I'd only be able to open about 200 yards of road. But my staff was able to locate a pipe, and we've come up with a temporary solution in order to get that road back open, which is, I'm sure the local residents are very excited about. So there are some new ratings for bridges, and I try to use lingo that is understandable for everyone. The Federal Highway Administration has changed their bridge rating system to good, fair, and poor. We have 119 bridges in Lancaster County that are good, 150 that are fair, and we have 24 that are poor. Poor ratings are based off, again, the newest systems, and these are bridges that are recommended for replacement. Just a little bit about our current bridge health. We have 27 bridges that are structurally deficient, 4 that are functionally obsolete. That most likely means they're a one-lane bridge. 31 that are scour susceptible, 11 that are scour critical, 24 that have a rating of poor, 23 with a sufficiency rating of less than 50. We rate 62nd out of 93 counties as far as the square footage of bad bridge that we have on our inventory, and we're 4th as far as counties in Nebraska with the most closed bridges. And I would really like to get to be, I don't know, we could probably get to be like 89th. I know that we have several counties in Nebraska that don't have bridges at all. So of course they're always going to be ahead of us, but it would be nice to get these bridges open. I would like to talk a little bit tonight about subdivision maintenance. Lancaster County currently maintains 78 miles of subdivision roads. In 1995, we maintained 54 miles. That has been a dramatic increase of maintenance to my department. 42 miles of that are gravel, 36 miles are paving. The maintenance of subdivisions continues to be an unfunded mandate for my department, and none of us really like unfunded mandates. Last year, the county spent approximately $1 million patching potholes and chip sealing 12 subdivisions. And I do expect as we go forward, we're going to continue to have to maintain subdivisions at a higher rate. So we did chip seal subdivisions. I know that I received many phone calls, and I know that you all received some phone calls too, in regards to like, hey, what was I doing? And so I wanted just to talk briefly about chip sealing. It is about a 4-step process. I know I got calls saying, why are you graveling the paved roads? Step 1 is to add an emulsification application to the road, as shown in this picture. Step 2 is to add a chip limestone application. Step 3 is to compact that in, and it does somewhat look like a gravel road, although I will assure you it does not drive like a gravel road. And then the last step is to add a fog seal to the surface. We know that this adds a wearing surface to the asphalt that lasts 5 to 7 years. It's significant because we want to protect the surface of the asphalt. We know that once we're to the point where we are patching potholes, we've lost the game. You never want to be tracking how many potholes did you patch in a day. Instead, you want to make sure that you have healed the surface of this asphalt, not just like you'd heal your skin, really. We do have some new traffic numbers in. I was not necessarily surprised by the continued growth in the county. We still have 9 miles of road that have more than 400 cars a day, and 24 miles of road that have more than 300 cars a day. This really emphasizes the need for paving in Lancaster County. We are still working on our traffic counts because, as you may or may not be aware, traffic counters have computer chips in them. And so we need some new traffic counters. We've been unable to get them, and we're hoping maybe we can get them by next spring so that we can get a few more traffic counts done. The statement that I really think is important to make, that as the county continues to grow, an emphasis should be placed on paving gravel roads that have an ADT of more than 300. In addition, an emphasis needs to be placed on improving our major paved corridors and ensuring that bridges and paved corridors are in good condition. I want to talk a little bit about the Saltillo Road project. We did have a public information meeting on that earlier this spring. We continue to work on design for that. This is a federally funded safety project, so that means we're really at the whim of the federal government and NDOT as far as when we can start construction for that road. Right now, they're telling us that construction is forecasted for FY25. We will continue to work in this corridor to be sure that we are ready to bid that project as soon as they tell us we can. Some bridge projects completed in FY 2021. We did construct 5 bridges. We repaired 7 bridges, and that was largely done with Mr. Kramer, who's in the back of the room. So buying that excavator a couple years ago and then educating our team in how to fix and repair bridges has been a game changer for us. In addition, we have 4 bridges that are under construction or under contract for completion. Hopefully yet this fall, which we're quickly running out of time. We have 3 bridges that we have complete the design, and we have all the permits, and we are ready to put them out for bid should they be funded. Just a little bit about our 5 bridge to box culvert replacements that we completed last year. Box culverts are about 1/3 the price of a bridge, so whenever we can fit one of those in, we do. I've actually done 25 of them in my tenure, which is significant. We also add some modern design features to slow down the velocity through the boxes so that our creeks don't continue to get wider and deeper, which is really important. And at the top of the picture on the right, you can see me and the contractor, Bauer Underground, standing on top of the box, just for perspective that these are really large structures. Here's a picture of box Y181 that we opened just a couple weeks ago. I was really excited to get that one open. It had been closed for a very long time. Y181 was part of the Transportation Innovation Act, and we did get a grant from NDOT for that structure. And then V25 and Y74. These are projects that bridges that we repaired in-house, and so it's significant to the people that live in these areas to be able to get these bridges open. Y174, of course, was delayed because it took us a really long time to get the steel that we ordered for it. Other projects completed in FY 2021, 17 miles of asphalt overlay, 13 miles of pavement maintenance, 0.43 miles of grading. That was the road that we talked about in the meeting this morning, Southwest 2nd Street, that was graded and then given to us by the NRD. And then in addition, we have really a record 9 miles of engineering currently being worked on in our office. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about those as we go on in the presentation. I want to talk about projects that are proposed for FY22, our current budget year. We're currently proposing 2 bridges being constructed. E171, which is currently a bridge that we have received a grant from the Nebraska Department of Transportation in order to replace. So it's a matching grant so that we don't have to pay 100% of that. And then bridge D88. And D88 was really a great bridge. It was built for us by the Department of Defense in the 50s to convey missiles to the missile sites. It was a great bridge until 2015. And then we have just become unable to stabilize it. We've done 3 major stabilization projects in the corridor. I've joked with the assistant county engineer that the problem with this bridge is it's about 100 feet too short. It's only 90 feet short, which still makes it a bridge that's just a hair under 300 feet. So that's a pretty major structure. We do need to construct that next year in order to stabilize the Agnew Road corridor. Just a few pictures of D88. Some of these bridges look really good on the top, and then when you climb under them, you're less impressed. Here's some photos of the progression of what's happened to D88 with the severe flooding we've had the last several years. And then E171, E171 will be replaced with a box culvert next year, and so we'll be excited to get that open. It also has been closed for a significant amount of time. What are we looking at in FY22? What I'm looking at is Bridge R, getting the engineering done for Bridge R184 on Roca Road, Bridge S180 on Roca Road. We know these bridges will take a significant amount of work because the Army Corps dam backs up under them, as well as S59, C284, which is on Agnew Road. 044 is one of our WPA bridges. It's on Rokeby, and it's on the stretch of Rokeby that no longer connects to 77. However, we do need to keep it open for the resident that lives in that area. And then Bridge F201. And F201, we will begin shortly working on selecting an engineer to design that. That will be funded through the MPO, and that will be funded at 80/20. And so county taxpayers will only have to pick up 20% of the expense of that bridge. And I'm kind of excited to be able to get that bridge designed and ready to go. It is on the pour list, by the way. Other bridge projects proposed to be repaired are M73 and R116. These are actually bridge length box culverts that have a significant amount of erosion around them, so we'll be working on those next year. And then we have the road projects proposed for FY 2022. Now, we do have 4 miles of overlay. We do have 4 miles of overlay that are state rec road that will be paid for in partnership with NDOT through their rec roads program. That is another way that we are stretching our road dollars to try to get as much pavement as we can. In addition, we plan on doing $1.7 million of pavement preservation work. We plan on doing engineering on 2.4 miles of road. We also just want to note that the state has bid the wagon train road, the rec road, which is kind of just outside of Hickman. We've been working with them for about 3 years on that. We expect that they will not begin construction on that until next summer because, of course, once we go to partner with them on work, we're really beholden to their schedule. And then we'll continue to put a major emphasis on maintaining pavement. A little bit about pavement maintenance in FY22. We're really going to focus on 5.35 miles of mill and fill in order, again, to continue to stabilize the county's asphalt. I just want to talk a little bit about that and why you're really seeing for the first time in 5 or 6 years a reduction in the amount of funds that are going into maintaining our asphalt surface. So in 2014, we had more than 90 miles of road that needed some form of maintenance, 90 miles of paved road that needed maintenance. In FY 2020, we were able to get that down to just a little under 36 miles. And in this year, we think we're somewhere a little under 34 miles. And so as we continue to work on that number, we've really stabilized our pavement maintenance program. And Larry Legg has really been instrumental in coming up with that program that focuses heavily on maintaining those corridors. Next year, we're going to see what is our first economic development grant through the Transportation Innovation Act for Southwest 42nd Street in partnership with Monolift. The state of Nebraska will be funding that project, $500,000 of that project, and then Monolift and the county will be splitting the remainder. I'm really excited. That means the county is going to get a mile of pavement for about 25% of the cost. That is significant, and I think it will also be a big deal to the city of Hallam. I want to talk a little bit about 148th Street. In 2018, we did a safety study on the entire corridor from Waverly all the way down to Highway 2. With that being said, there were a number of hot spots. The commissioners may recall that the cost was about $40 million. And the report says that 148th Street fails in 2030. So that's coming up on us pretty quick. Right now, what we have been able to secure for safety funds for this corridor is intersection improvements at 148th and Holdridge. We're hoping that we can get the engineering done sometime this year. It may take more than a year, though, because these can be complex projects. And then we also have South 68th Street. So South 68th Street, we did a study on in 2018. We have started the design on this corridor from the southern city limits of Hickman to Firth Road. The Lancaster County Engineering Department in 2018 estimated that this corridor needs approximately $18 million in improvements. There have been nearly 60 injury accidents in this corridor since the 2018 study. Our in-house engineering team is currently working on the design. In addition, part of the right-of-way acquisition was included in the current budget. The commissioners have also placed $1 million in their contingency funds for this project. Since these funds were not placed in the Bridge and Special Road Fund, I am sadly unable to include this funding in my 1 and 6 because my 1 and 6 is fiscally constrained to what is contained within my budgets. However, I will assure the public that we are working on the design and that we understand the public's concern about the corridor. We will also be starting the engineering by selecting a consultant for Northwest 56th Street. The county will only be responsible for 20% of the cost from I-80 to Holdridge. This is also an MPO-funded project. In addition, we have Fletcher Avenue as an MPO project. We will also be looking for a consultant for that. The county will only be responsible for 20% of the costs associated with Fletcher Avenue. With that, the future focus will continue to be aggressive maintenance programs such as chip sealing, fog sealing, shotcrete, foam injection, embankment stabilization to assist with funding and save Lancaster County money. In the future, these programs will reduce the required maintenance needed on bridges and asphalt roads. As bridges continue to be placed on the poor list, it has become apparent that in many cases, multiple bridges were constructed at the same time over the years, such as North 148th Street, North 14th Street, Roca Road. It seems like I'm continually finding these, unfortunately, in sets of 3. This has created a lack of resilience in many of our highly traveled corridors. Between 2016 and 2021, 25 bridges have been replaced with box culverts, and there have been 3 bridge-to-bridge replacements. Lancaster County is now faced with the challenge of having to deal with, that's right, the really big bridges, which are mostly over 150 feet. Many of our programs for maintenance will extend the life cycle of county infrastructure. However, a lot of our infrastructure is to the point where we're just going to have to replace it. Bridges that are over 150 feet are going to end up costing somewhere probably between $1.7 and $2 million. Just a quick snapshot. I know that everyone picked up a copy of the 1 and 6 when they came in. We have here a list of the standby projects. All of the bridges listed in the standby projects are bridges where we have completed the engineering and either are nearing having all the permits or have the permits. All of these bridges I have requested funding for previously and have not received funding for. I will continue to look for funding sources to replace these bridges. And then in addition, in the future, we will continue to do our best to get those poor bridges off of our inventory. And like with the bridges, we have our proposed road projects for the FY23 through FY27 years. I do have a long list of standby projects. You will note that South 68th Street is on the list. We're hoping to be able to complete the engineering and the acquisition for that so that we can continue to move forward. I also, though, want to point out that Southwest 14th Street is on this list, and on our traffic counts, we note that we are over 300 cars a day, and in one case, over 400 cars a day on that last 2-mile stretch that needs to be paved. I know that I've requested that in my budget several years, but that is becoming more and more urgent. We'll also see that there are several other corridors around the county where we now have very high traffic counts. I have a feeling someone may be here to talk about 98th Street between Holdridge and Adams. It did have one of the highest counts in the county at just under 1,000 cars a day on that gravel. And of course, that is the road that we used as our test dust control project. So we remain concerned about several of these corridors. Here's a quick list of our, of a quick map. You have a larger map that maybe still isn't large enough, depending on if you wear bifocals like I do. We have a larger map included in the packet. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I also want to note that in order to prepare for future FEMA events, we have done a pre-disaster video inventory that our interns did this summer with GoPros, and we now have a video inventory of all roads in the county. They did a great job on that. I was really super proud of them. They tell everyone that we just gave them a box of GoPros and an old corrections van, and that is true. That's what we did, and they came up with something awesome. Dust control continues to be an issue for the county. Since doing the test project, I've received a large number of calls. We believe that a dust control program for the county would cost well over $1 million a year. I would really rather use that $1 million to start paving roads. So that will, I'm sure that we're going to continue to hear more concerns about dust. Lastly, you can find us on Twitter with road closures and updates on the county engineering, on Facebook and on our website. And with that, I will just make the closing statement that as county engineer, I will continue to fight for additional funds for new pavement and bridges, which I believe is of great importance to those who live and work in our rural communities. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Pam. Any questions, commissioners, for Pam?
For the public, should they want to point to a map, I have left 11 by 17 maps of what's in the packet, as well as the traffic counts on the overhead.
Okay. We will move forward with the public hearing. Those who have signed up to speak will be called forward. You'll need to be sworn in, and then you'll have 5 minutes to speak on whatever topic is important to you. Mr. Clerk?
Doug Hanson.
Thank you. My
Go
name's...
ahead and- Can I go
Oh,
in for
I'm sorry.
you? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, my name's Doug Hanson. I am the mayor of Hickman, Nebraska. I want to thank county commissioners. I want to thank Lancaster County Engineers Office for all of the work that they do. Thank you also for allowing me to come up first in order. We have a city council meeting that started about 10 minutes ago, so if there is a police escort down to Hickman, that would be appreciated. But they are starting, and they know I'm here, and that shows how important we think the 1 and 6 year plan is. As you may know, Hickman is the second fastest growing city in the state. I think we got beat out by Valley, Nebraska by just a little bit, but we're really growing, as everyone knows. I'm not going to go into the accidents that have happened along South 68th Street. I think you know that history very well. And that's why I'm here, is in support of anything that Lancaster County can do for the South 68th Street projects. Not only is Hickman growing, the Norris Public School District is growing immensely as well. And both from Hickman Road or Hickman city limits, basically, to Roca Road. That's one project, and then the other is from Firth Road to Stagecoach Road as well. So really that entire corridor. Again, we have narrow shoulders there. We have a lot of kids driving to Norris School, and I've been in front of you before to talk about that as well. If there are any questions at the end, please do ask. But again, support of South 68th Street projects. I want to let the county commissioners know that Hickman is planning a roundabout at 68th and Hickman Road. In fact, we have been pocketing away a little bit of funds to try to get that project going. Plans and specifications are being developed for that, and we were looking at bidding that either in late 2021 or spring of 2022. We know that there may be issues regarding availability of contractors with the Beltway going on, and those other with appraisals, with easements, with land acquisitions. We know that that will take time on the city of Hickman's behalf as well. There could be a coordination issue as we attempt to close roads, because we most likely will need to close where it enters the city of Hickman to south of Hickman when we do that roundabout. And what our concern is, if the county does additional work, if we close it down at one point early, and then we open it back up, then Lancaster County comes and closes it down, say 6 months later, the public's not going to be too happy about why weren't these projects coordinated. So we do have some concern about making sure the coordination does happen. We understand that there's design issues and acquisitions as well on Lancaster County's side of the funding for that project as well. So I'm here really just to show support for the South 68th Street project. There may be others here from North School District as well to speak regarding that. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have as well.
All right. Any questions for Mayor Hanson? Sir, it's always good to see you. Do drive careful out there.
I will. I won't.
God knows
I won't
what
speed, I promise.
God knows what the city council's up to while you're away. Doug.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our
for
sheriff's
being-
deputy is actually going to follow you all the way down.
Thanks, Mayor.
Stephanie Fisher? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm the city administrator from the city of Waverly. We too have a city council meeting tonight, so I get to be the representative from the city here this evening. I'd just like to echo what Doug said. Thank you very much for all of the projects that do happen. I can speak on behalf of Northeast Lancaster County. There are rural projects that happen outside of the immediate community of Waverly, but do have a serious impact on our community as a whole. So thank you for all of the improvements that do get made out there. I do want to emphasize and stress our support for any improvements made on 148th Street. That's a major corridor into our community. Lots of routine traffic that happens for our school students and parents, commercial traffic into the area, and also the agricultural traffic that happens up there as well. It's a two-lane highway, or not even a highway, two-lane road, hard surface road, no shoulders, pretty steep ditches, and has tons of traffic. Any improvements to intersections are appreciated, but the road long-term needs some serious help. Which also kind of leads me to the next point, which would be the East Beltway. Please continue to prioritize the East Beltway. Anything that we can do to alleviate some of the traffic that happens in the extremely quickly growing northeastern Lancaster County area, the East Beltway becomes more important on a daily basis. So I know there's lots of right-of-way and everything that happens beyond the funding. That's a whole nother piece. So, but East Beltway is definitely a priority for us in the community. Fletcher Avenue is the other major infrastructure piece that connects Waverly to the city of Lincoln. Waverly, just like Hickman, is quickly growing. We grew 1,002 people in 10 years. So we are adding residential subdivisions added 2 of them this year. So many of our community members live in Waverly but work outside of the community. So safe traffic ways are extremely important to all of our members. So like I said, I just want to reiterate any support, all of our support for those projects, and to continue to prioritize them if at all possible. So, do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Stephanie? You trust the city council when you're away?
No, they're doing well. I gave them lots of instructions.
I'm sure you left them in good shape. Well, thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Richard Schmeling. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You are allowed to remove your mask while you're speaking, sir, if you would like to.
That's good because I have difficulty articulating and enunciating with it on. My name is Richard Schmeling. I have many hats, but tonight I'm here as the president of Citizens for Improved Transit. Usually I come before the city council and talk about improving StarTran, but our group is interested in transportation everywhere, including in the county. Now, I'm passing out a local view which appeared in the paper last Friday. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. I'm going to step away from all the nuts and bolts and go back and give you a global view of what I see. I returned from Vietnam and ended up in Lincoln in 1967. I've been here ever since. I was a neighbor of Marvin Nurenberger, former state engineer and county engineer. His daughter Janice babysat when my children were small. I visited with him from time to time about his work. He told me at that time we had bridges that were dangerous and that he was having to close the roads, and that he was very sad that the county commissioners would not give him enough money to fix those bridges. So this goes back before you guys. This is a continuing thing. Then we had Don Thomas, and he was the county engineer for a lot of years. And I used to see Don when I'd come from my law office and go to court. And I'd talk with Don. Same problem. We've got bridges. We need them fixed. I can't get enough money to fix the bridges. And we still have the problem. Here's Pam Dingman, our county engineer. The state statutes require the county engineer to build and maintain roads. but she can't do it if you don't give her the money to do it. Now, I talked to your fiscal officer. You're below your cap in terms of your levy. And you had an opportunity when you did the budget to give some more money to Pam so some of this stuff can get done, and you didn't do it. And I just want you to know that as a citizen of Lincoln and a resident of Lancaster County, I'm going to be watching. And I expect this group to exert every effort to give more money to Pam so that she can get some of this very necessary work done. I also would just indicate that the share of the county engineer of the overall county budget has been decreasing rather than increasing. And you know, you're not helping us taxpayers when you defer this stuff, because you heard her testimony about how the price of everything is going up. Had we fixed some of these bridges 10, 15, 20 years ago, we would have fixed them at those prices for that period of time. Now we're going to fix them with inflated prices. So you're not doing the taxpayers any favor when you slight the county engineer's budget. And I hope some of this rings home to you, and that you'll take me seriously and that you'll do something about it next budget go around. I think it's very important. I drive the county roads even though I live here in Lincoln. And the last thing I want is I want some bridge to fall in, all my cars going across it. So I don't know if you have any questions for me. I would just kind of end up by telling you that going along at the present time, we're doing a transportation improvement plan for StarTran.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you. And that is ongoing. I think you're going to see some interesting changes here in Lincoln with our bus system within the next year or so. I'd like to have the county roads also make that quantum leap. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
John Schwartz. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do. Well, good evening, Commissioner Shore, County Commissioners, Pam. Thank you to all of you for what you do and your support. We do appreciate working with all of you, and certainly, Deb, you represent our community, and we appreciate your support. Pam, we appreciate you and your office and the support that you provide. Obviously, times are complicated. As Mayor Hansen said, the South 68th Street project is of particular importance to Norris School District. We do not have our board meeting tonight like so many others have. We did last night, and we talked about this topic, and our board reaffirmed the importance of this project for our community, which comes as no surprise because we've talked about it before here. I am here on behalf of them, and I wanted to share with you a few things that have changed since the last time I was here, one of which I want to thank you all for, which is what I believe to be your intent and the county engineer's intent to begin addressing some of the needs on 68th Street. It is an area of concern for us. It's as represented in your past safety study. Just since the start of this school year, we've had at least 4 accidents before or after school that involve students or staff because of some of the safety issues that I spoke about earlier this past summer. We've also grown. As Mayor Hansen indicated, the city of Hickman is one of Nebraska's fastest growing cities. Norris School District also happens to be one of Lancaster County and Nebraska's fastest growing school districts. We grew just under 4% this year from last, which is approaching nearly 100 students. We are over 2,500 students today, and if you project forward to 2025, we're going to have north of 800 students in our high school with no growth whatsoever, so just with the students we have. So if we begin to think about who is driving that stretch of road, It's 30-plus buses, it's parents dropping their kids off on campus, and here soon it's going to be north of potentially 800 students within the approaching future. So you know about that stretch of road and the safety concerns that exist, which is why I believe you've tried to move us forward with some steps to address that. Obviously, our board and I as superintendent, we understand that there's a lot of competing variables and you're trying to balance different needs with limited resources. We have to do that as well. And we respect the fact that those are choices you have to make and that the county engineer's office has to make as well. What we do ask though is that this continue to be a priority project for you. It is of high concern in our community. And one of the things that I can say is just a few months ago when this was communicated as a phased project to begin moving forward with, I believe the intended step for this next fiscal year was to purchase the right-of-way, and in the following fiscal year was to begin the filling and flattening along both sides of 68th Street. My understanding was it wasn't enough to get the entire project done, but it was a start. That was received really, really well within our community when that word spread through the media. And so seeing it on standby in the coming fiscal year is obvious concern to our board and our community. And we just hope that that can find its way to the top of the priority list moving forward because of the needs that do exist there. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have, but otherwise I just want to thank you as commissioners and certainly the county engineer's office as well.
John, thank you for being here. Any questions for John? We do appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Mick. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. My name is Joe Mick. I am a resident that lives on the South 98th Street corridor. So I live between Pioneers and Old Cheney on 98th Street. I'd like to speak on the topic of County Road Project 1904, which is obviously the paving of South 98th between Old Cheney and A Street. I realize that I and some of my neighbors have already spoken with some of you on this topic, and I appreciate those conversations. My purpose here tonight is just to remind everyone on the commissioner's staff that what the conditions of this stretch of road are, and just to remind everyone what we see on a daily basis. You will see in the 1 and 6 year plan that this project is in engineering during fiscal 21. It is also slated for pavement in the fiscal 23 to 27 time period. We continue to strongly believe that this project should receive the highest priority and be completed as soon as possible for the following reasons. And I have 7 reasons here, and I'll get through them quickly, I promise. Reason number 1, first and foremost, safety. This should always be the first consideration. I'll speak more about this later because I think the following reasons that I present are going to sort of play into the safety issue. So reason 2 is the high average daily traffic count. The ADT in the 1 and 6 year plan shows up as 391 cars, but Engineer Dingman mentioned in a 2019 article that it was up to 650 cars per day, and it was also measured at 713 cars per day in a 2018 report that was prepared by Olsen Associates. We have been told that this is the most heavily traveled gravel road in the county. Reason number 3, hazardous conditions, not just during certain times of the year, but virtually the entire year. So this doesn't just include heavy dust, as we've spoken to some today, but also thick mud in rainy seasons, snow and ice, and of course washboards throughout the year. I would also mention that at times during the year, there truly is only one path on the whole width of the road that is passable. So if you're trying to meet somebody coming from the opposite way, it's very hazardous. Reason number 4, significant new development on the 98th Street corridor. So to be more specific on some of the things that I'm sure you're aware that are happening on the 98th Street corridor, there's a residential development on the southwest corner of 98th and Old Cheney that's going up. In the Hillcrest area, there's development near 93rd and A. There's an approved project, a large development northeast of 98th and Van Dorn. And there's a new elementary school in process and new housing on the northwest side of 98th and Van Dorn. So in a 2019 interview with 1011, Commissioner Amundsen said, quote, 98th is really the next major road after 84th Street. And quote, the practical thing is to get it paved. It's not really a jump on the expansion. The expansion is already there. It just needs to be done, unquote. She also said her district has been asking for the road to be paved for a while. So that was in 2019. We're 2 years hence from that point. And continued development just continues to go up there on that corridor. Reason 5, wasted money spent due to continuous application of rock and maintenance costs.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you. This has helped some, but it still creates additional dust issues and is not entirely effective in the wetter seasons. Reason 6, simply it's been identified as an issue for many years now. I found the 98th Street project on page 16 of the 2010 construction program, and it was slated at that time for completion in the 2011 to 2015 period. We continue to hear things that suggest the paving is imminent, but after seeing the project on standby for so many years and not being done, residents begin to wonder what to believe. And finally, other funds are now available. Apparently some federal COVID funds are available for other issues, as well as the LCLC funds from the MPO that presumably are available for this project. There really is no reason for this not to get done soon. And finally, back to safety. Just for the reason, the combination of the reasons above, lots of cars, environmental conditions, significant new development bringing even more cars, and 2 small hills to navigate between Old Cheney and Pioneers. 98th Street is increasingly hazardous. So I appreciate your time here tonight. Thank you, Engineer Dingman, for the work you've done, and we also hope that this is a priority project.
Any questions for Mr. Mick? Joe, thank you for being here tonight.
Diane Heidbrink. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Hi, I'm Diane Heitbrink. I live just north of 98th and Holdridge Street. And just here to say we are the guinea pigs for the county. We got the treatment on the road, and life without dust is very different and very wonderful. I don't think it's a long-term solution, though. With our road approaching 1,000 vehicles a day, we're going to continue to have those problems with dust, with, you know, even the road that's been done. We seriously appreciate what has been done for the dust mitigation on the road. But already it's starting to have some chuck holes, and, you know, the dust is starting to come back, and I think it's been treated twice. But 4 weeks of no dust is something we would like to have on a long-term basis by having the road paved. So we would really love to see some funding put towards some of these roads and to get them paved. The growth around us is just really just exploding. We have thousands of apartment complexes that are going up on Holdridge Street. We have apartment complexes going up on Adams Street, and roads are going to continue to be used on our corridor, you know, much more frequently than what they probably are now. I really foresee those numbers, I would say, increasing a lot. And there's a new elementary school going in on 105th and Holdridge, so, you know, kids don't walk to school anymore. They're definitely not going to walk down our road to go to school. So anything you could do to give us some consideration to pave that road, we would appreciate it.
Very good. Any questions? Good to see you again. Thank you for being here, Diane.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Lynn Lanhoff. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. I too live on North 98th Street, 1900, and I'm on the east side of the road there. But you know, she said quite a bit already, and I'm just gonna say something that I called down here before about it, and they said things just don't work that way. You know, when they put all them houses up there by that lake and everything, and down behind Walmart and all them, I don't, and just like you're gonna do South 98, you got all those people coming out there, developers, they don't give a shit. They develop their stuff, collect all their money, and then leave and let the people out there in the country handle it. I think if you just held out $200 to $300 out each lot that was sold, we'd had more than darn money to pay for that 1 mile road, or even South 98. But these developers, they're laughing all the way to the bank. They don't care, you know, and it ain't the county's fault. It's the city's fault. I wish somebody from the city would be here so we could talk to them and have you guys split it. Because I understood that bridge on 98 and Adams that was fixed, the county paid for it, and then the darn city came out and annexed it because they didn't want to pay for the darn bridge. And here the county got screwed over again. I don't know how many other times the county gets screwed over. I think somebody like Rick Vest or somebody needs some bones around here, something to go down to the city and kick up some dust and tell them they need to put money down for the county. Because they're bringing the traffic out there. It ain't the county's fault. The county can't keep up that kind of count on that road or any of them other roads. All you gotta do is hold out. You hold out $200 or $300 a lot out of $75,000 to $80,000 a lot they're getting. Who in the hell is gonna miss that? I sure wouldn't miss it. Somebody who told me they held out $300 on my piece of property when I bought it for roads that I'm gonna be traveling on all the time. And those apartment complexes she mentioned, they're all gonna be going to Walmart. They're not gonna use 84th Street. They could come down 98. And when you get that school built up there in Holdridge, the people all from Walmart behind there, their kids are all gonna come down 98 too. And it's 1 mile, what we asked for. And I don't understand why the darn thing wasn't paid 10 years ago. This is getting ridiculous. Somebody's go down there to the city and kick some butt. And I don't care who it is, but somebody needs to do it. Split the cost on this deal. Don't let the city take you out. We need somebody to go down there like you, Rick, or somebody to do it. That's all I have to say.
All right, any questions for Lynn? Thank you, sir, for being here tonight. We appreciate your thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Well said.
Last person signed in is Don Biggerstaff. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name's Don Biggerstaff. I live on 98th as well, on between Holdridge and Layton. First thing I'd like to do is thank Pam for working on my road to alleviate the dust issue. It was a huge improvement. Thank you. I know that the architect for the roundabout on Holdridge helped a little bit too, but that made a huge improvement on the dust on our road. But before that, it was awful. I mean, we got dump trucks, side dumps, everybody doing construction in the area from Waterford to Adams and 95th is going down our road, along with all the traffic from Holdridge. And it was dangerous to get the mail out of your mailbox. Anyway, I know that back last time I spoke, I looked at the traffic count, and it was at least 3 years ago. Excuse me. And at that time, it was over 400 cars a day traveling 98th between Holdridge and Holdridge and Adams. And now it's way more, but I just would appreciate your consideration on the pavement, and that's all I got to say. And thanks again, Pam, for the dust control.
Any questions for Don? Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is that it? Okay. With that, if there's no one else signed up,
I will move we adjourn.
Second.
well, hold 1 second. Ma'am, would you like to speak?
Can I ask some questions?
I don't know.
Not in the public hearing.
Not at a public hearing. No, the answer is not at a public hearing. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? Please call the roll, Dan.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
we are adjourned.